Welcome to the 10U TBS National Championships. This is the championship bout. Kyle Rush along with Rick Goff, and we are officially underway as the first offering from Bednarski misses outside, and the culmination for both these teams, what has been quite the impressive week as Lawson Coburn stands in, and Coburn and company and the Wildcatters had to win to get here. And Rick, this has just been an impressive week for both these young teams.
Yeah, it's a situation. It's a situation where, battling all week long in the 10U division. We've been here since Wednesday, and it's been a long week for all these guys, but it's very rewarding when these two teams meet up here in the championship game.
This one darts out of the way, and we were talking sort of with the production crew. It's amazing. We had you on with the 8Us earlier, how much that 2 years you see the velocity from the pitchers pick up a little bit. And to those of us that watch on TV, it starts to look a lot more familiar to what you might see rules-wise as well.
Yeah, we have special rules that we do in place for 8-year-olds. It's kind of a standard thing across the country because we realize that those guys are just starting to learn the game. But starting at 9 and moving on up, hey, it's real big boy baseball. And we're playing everything out the way that you would see on a typical day at your major league ballpark. The ball's live, steals, pickoffs, balks, hopefully a few dramatic home runs, and hopefully no bat flips. So we kind of frown upon that. I'm old school, so I don't really care for the bat flips like everyone else does.
Leadoff single here as that one's ripped in for a strike, and something we've seen throughout the entirety of these championships, and you continue to be impressed with the defense that across the board has been really, really impressive. Saw the double play in our 8U game earlier today and seen plenty of good defense since then as well.
Yeah, when you talk about a double play in an 8U game, I guess let me explain this to the people out there. It wasn't a line drive to a position player who stepped on a bag for a double play. It was a routine 6-4-3 double play. And it just amazes me that the talent that these guys display at even as young as 8 years old. And you're going to see some fine defense from these two teams here today because without it, they wouldn't be here.
Right.
And so they can definitely glove it with the best of them. And it shows in what they do and how far they advance, week in and week out. These are teams that go deep into runs. And the coaches will be the first to tell you it's based on defense and pitching.
And you start to see at this level, too, as opposed to they've experienced some of this style before and some of this level of competition where for the 8Us it's some of their first time. Runner goes. Play is in time to get him. Nice throw from behind the plate by Harris, and Coburn is caught stealing for out number one.
Well, there we talk about right here the defense. And for some unknown reason, the runner feels like he didn't have to slide. He thought maybe he was going to be in standing up without a throw. But this is a message to all the youngsters out there. Slide. Always slide. I don't understand why kids go in standing up like that. Even if there's no throw, I always told my kids, hey, it's fun sliding on turf. Let's get some enjoyment out of it anyway.
Yeah, we talked about the whole turf thing in a 8U game and what things that allows you to do for these type of tournaments, as this one's outside. When I played on dirt, I wanted to slide. I didn't feel like I did anything if the uniform wasn't dirty when I got home.
Right. Yeah, and turf allows you so much freedom and what to do, not only from a game standpoint, but from a tournament directing standpoint as well. We got rain and stuff yesterday for a couple of hours. And if we would have had dirt fields, we probably would have been down, 4 or 5 hours trying to get the fields back up and running. But with turf, we were back and playing 10 minutes after it stopped raining.
Gavin Pratt pops out. Now Jace Surface will come to the plate. We already saw the Houston Wildcatters advance in the 9 group, and something that we have seen not only from them, but this team as well. Hitting has been in pretty good supply, particularly at the top of these batting orders.
Well, I can tell you this is one of those things that happens in youth tournaments. This is going to be the third time in this tournament they faced each other.
Yeah.
And SBA has come out on top in the first two. Once in pool play, they came out on top 5-2. And then once the bracket played and they faced each other early in the round in the playoffs, and SBA hung on to a 2-1 ball game. And at the end of the day, you're talking about 10-year-olds playing a 2-1 ball game. I think that game only lasted like an hour and 20 minutes is about all it went. So great defense, great pitching, timely hits to get them a 2-1 victory. So third time's the charm. It's tough to beat somebody three times. You know, in Major League Baseball, it's very rare to see a sweep in that type of thing. So we'll see if it holds true in the youth level as well.
This is in foul territory. Not quite enough room for Murphy over there. We certainly have seen that 3 times, and it was an interesting moment for us at the plate meeting. You could hear it said, "I told you we'd see you again." And these coaches sort of have a knack of what teams they might see again based on how the week has gone. Long throw, not in time, and Jay Surface just beats it out.
Well, there's a case, speed and the shorter base paths here at the 10-year-old division. They're 65-foot base paths, just a little bit longer than we talked about earlier, seeing in college softball. And, these kids get down the line. 65 feet for these young kids that are full of energy is not a lot of time. And even though the young man at third base got a strong arm, you got to get rid of it a lot quicker.
Always seems this one's fouled away on first offering to Easton Dunham. Always seems at third base, you get the slow dribbler, you get the line drive. You don't get those routine ground balls over there in the hot corner.
Yeah. Easton's a big boy here for 10 years old. Great stance for a lefty. But, I tell people all this time, lefties look good at everything they do. Pitching, batting, pitching, bowling, making cereal in the kitchen in the morning. Lefties look good at everything they do.
Yeah, who said it's not cool to be a lefty?
Well, I'm a righty, so my whole thing on this, lefties cheat at everything they do, right? They're already 2 steps closer to first base, being that left-hander's batter's box. Every time they throw it to first base, I say they balk. I mean, it's just, my rationale and my reasoning behind lefties. So I've always said I'm going to create a baseball game in the fall to where we're going to run the bases backwards. Third's going to actually be first, and that way the right-handers get the advantage for a change. Good release.
And this time the throw down, that's in time to get him. So the second runner caught stealing by Harris in the inning and holds the Wildcatters scoreless. We go to the second with no score. So here we go, bottom of the first. First offering missed outside as Gavin Pratt, the pitcher, as this one Sails outside. Tanner Denton will lead it off. Kyle Rush along with Rick Goff, the 10U championship game. And what has been thrilling to watch these players play. This one out in the air and easy out there in right. Nicely handled by Stiegel for out number one.
Kyle, I want to go back and talk about that top of the first inning there. And I don't think people realize that in most 10U baseball games, kids stealing second base is almost a given. I mean, it just happens so easily. And you come here and you see that young man throw out not one but two runners in the top of the first. I'm sure the Wildcatters are not used to seeing a catcher that's able to do that.
Well, it is evidence to your point. The first one went in standing and almost was surprised the ball was there. He said, what do you mean the throw's here already?
Yeah. Yeah, the second one I even said it, if you go back and listen to it, I said that was a good transfer, good release from that catcher. Yep. Quick, to the point, great feet work by that young man, and ends up throwing out the runner. Actually, in plenty of time, he threw him out.
Now the Wildcatters looking for a strong defensive inning of their own as Gavin Pratt on the hill falls behind 3-0 here after retiring Denton via the fly ball to start it. Micah Murphy watches the strike. He thought it was ball four, and watching body language from kids never gets old, does it?
No, they always have their own opinion there.
This also out there toward right. A couple nice plays out there in right defensively. And sometimes how you get into high school and collegiate age, some of them are at that age are pretty good at hiding their emotions. They're still pretty raw at 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, the eye rolls and the shrugged shoulders. There's many signs that as umpires that they kind of look at. And, the umpires have to be professional about it because, and really inside the umpire's head, they're like, really, come on. I mean,
right.
That was right down the middle. Why are you questioning that was a strike?
Well, as a coach, you never got the eye roll as a coach, did you?
Yeah. Coach, dad, insert all those things there. You get the eye rolls all the time, right?
Is this one's excused foul? But you mentioned that part of it. Lots of families out here on this Father's Day, and for the dads, how rewarding it is for lots of some of them coaching, some of them out in the fans. But regardless, rewarding. And a lot of times, what a dad would say, "Hey, watching my kid play ball, pretty good way to spend Father's Day."
There's no place I'd rather be. My son is now 30. He spent many a Father's Day, him and I, at the baseball field because of just the time of year it is. I mean, this is baseball season.
Yep.
And so you're going to spend Father's Day at the field, and all these dads here, if you ask them, there's no place they'd rather be than right here at the baseball field with their son and enjoying these moments and experiences that last a lifetime. And I can vouch for that because I have some great memories of being with my son at the baseball field and my daughters as well because they were forced to come. So, they were always there. They were always there on Father's Day, too. So I couldn't tell you, honestly, Kyle, I couldn't tell you the last time I had a traditional Father's Day Sunday. Being, kids take you out to dinner, you go do this. Couldn't tell you the last time that happened. So, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't know what to do if that did happen. So I'd be lost.
Well, it has been a treat here not only this week, but it's come full culmination and seeing the defense stealing the show in that first inning.
Yeah, defense, like we talked about at the top of the first, defense is going to take you to places that deep into the tournaments on Sunday. Case in point, let's go to the bottom of the first. We gave the catcher props in the top of the first. Let's give the right fielder props on the top of the second. Both those plays were not routine. I mean, there was a little trick to them. And, the traditional saying is, well, we're going to hide our players in right field. But you play at this level, you can't hide anybody in right field because balls get hit there. They get hit to every position on these fields. So, the stereotype of, well, we have to put, hide somebody in right field doesn't apply in these types of tournaments. I can guarantee you that.
Well, and with turf, too, the ball gets to you so much quicker defensively as well when it is on the ground. As Easton Dunham was at the plate when the second of two runners was caught stealing, so he's back in here. And he cracks this one into right field. No hiding there. That got into right in a hurry. And nice job to cut it off by Murphy. It'll hold him to a single. You were talking last inning when he was at the plate. Lefties always look good. That looked pretty darn good.
That was a great swing by that man and a great play by Murphy out in right field. If he don't cut that ball off, it gets to the fence, and we're looking at a leadoff double for the Wildcatters here. So we'll see if that looms to be a big play by the right fielder. Again, the right fielder out there in Murphy.
Austin Naren watches strike on the outside corner. We'll see if the Wildcatters, who had 2 hits in that first inning, but Benarski faced the minimum largely thanks to his backstop, who threw out 2 base runners. See how eager the Wildcatters are to send another here.
Oh, you can better believe that it's in the back of their mind. The human eraser that we call him behind the plate there kind of took care of 2 of those early.
This off the fist toward third. They go to first. They get one there. The turn,
great
not
feet
quite
work
in time.
Oh, my goodness.
But how about the stretch by Murphy at first? Just not quite in time to get him.
The intricacies and then that play, the 5-4-3 around the horn, great footwork by the second baseman to clear himself, strong throw to first, stretching out to help his defense as Murphy over at first base, but just not in time to record the double play. But, man, I tell you what, they did everything right except get the second out, which is no fault of their own.
Well, credit Naren, who was hustling down the line there as well, as this one's outside. And you mentioned the 2 games these 2 teams have played combined. You're looking at 10 total runs amongst 2 games so far. Yeah. And at this age, that is hard to come by in one game, much less 2 complete.
Yeah, some of these teams put up 10 runs in 2 innings, let alone 2 games.
We saw it from the Wildcatters in the 9U game where they put up back-to-back 5 spots to close that one out. As Garner Green, this one gets by the catcher, and that'll allow Naren to move up.
Here's another little thing that the coach in me picks up when I watch these games, right? That was a pass ball, wild pitch, however you want to clarify that on the scoring. But the catcher knew there's no way he's going to throw the kid out at second base, so he takes his time, he goes over and he picks up the ball, makes sure he surrounds it, and he doesn't rush over there and just go all chaotic, right? And little things is what makes this game go round. And something like that, listen, he already...
A sliding catch going back towards center. Look what I found.
An amazing play, right? I mean, he reads the ball off the bat, gets good jump on it, goes back and tracks a baseball and makes a play. That's what a shortstop's supposed to do, is take charge and make the play. Make the difficult play.
And oh, by the way, he's 10 years old.
Oh, right. We forgot about that part, right? We forgot about that part.
This down and away.
And I'm sure if you ask the coaches about that play, they'd be like, he makes that play all the time. We're not surprised.
Reed Stiegel standing in. As he pokes this one to the right side, it'll move the runners over, but that the third out of the inning, as all Murphy has to do is touch first. Defense shining again. This time it was Nestenhut out at short that steals the show. Bottom of the inning coming up right after this. Welcome back to the TBS National Championships. As they get a good look from behind. As getting set for his second inning of work is Pratt. He'll face the middle of this Bolts lineup. 4, 5, and 6. As that one just missed upstairs. And you mentioned how we would see it in the 8U game, but each game you see the plate discipline starting to get a little better and better. And those up in the zone that all the 8-year-olds were swinging at, a few more go by here at this level.
And that's nothing more than 2 more years of experience. I mean, that's what it boils down to, is these kids get 2 more years of experience under their belt, 2 more years of coaches yelling at them not to swing at that pitch. And finally it sinks in, as you get older. But we've played an inning and a half, right? So we've had 3, 6, 9 outs. And how many times have we praised the defense and 9 outs already? So I know we're going to beat that until it's a dead horse, but this is a reason these teams get this far, is because they play exceptional defense and do things the right way, and the feet work and everything else is just immaculate.
Perhaps the best play, the one we saw at short, as this one's cut through for strike 2. And Briggs Nesselhut, how many times does this happen? You make a fine play defensively, and then you end up at the plate the next half inning. That's what Nesselhut has here, trying to cap off his defensive play. This one right back to the mound, and Pratt makes easy work of it for out number 1.
And as a pitcher, Kyle, when you see that type of defense that you guys give you, as a pitcher, that relaxes you and calms you on the mound, knowing, hey, listen, if I make a bad pitch and they get the barrel on it, I still have confidence that I've got 8 chances of somebody to make a play for me. And that's such a big relief off your shoulders, as opposed to where if you have a team that doesn't play such good defense and you feel internally, I've got to strike everyone out, because if the ball gets put in play, there might be an error. Whole different mindset.
Here's the catcher in Bood Benarski. Goes by the nickname Boo, but I can assure you it's almost fitting as a catcher, almost what he said on a couple of those throws down to second to base stealers. Hey, Boo, you're out for a caught stealing in that first inning.
And the catchers, they love doing that, right? That's what they live for. So he's going back to the dugout. Underneath that mask, he's grinning from ear to ear.
Now he's trying to do some damage at the plate against Pratt. This one on the ground towards second. Fielded cleanly there. Throw in time. And 2 up, 2 down. 5 retired to start for Pratt on the bump for the Wildcatters.
See, here's another little thing that people probably can't see on the broadcast, but you and I can sit here and we can look at that second baseman, and we notice that he's playing deep. He's taking away some angles because he's got plenty of time to get the ball. Normal second basemen are probably playing up another 10, 15 feet, and they can't get the balls up the middle that way.
This one curls in for a strike to Dylan Kraus, and certainly turf can be part of that as well. Gives you a little more time to field a ground ball on the synthetic surface than you might get on dirt.
Yeah, the ball will get to you quicker for sure. So, it allows you to cover more ground when you stay back. Now, when runners get on base, you got to shorten up everything. But, man, with nobody on, it gives you so much more freedom. And a lot of teams don't take advantage of that.
Dylan Kraus trying to prevent another 3 up, 3 down inning for the Bolts here. Talk about a team that's pitching and defense has been splendid as they've gotten to this winners portion, went through the winners portion of the bracket, beating this Wildcatters team, and have put themselves on a good position here Sunday, and largely due to their pitching and defense, which has been splendid all week long. This is a bouncer towards second. Has to hurry, throw in time to get him. By an eyelash, it's good enough for the out, and
yeah, that was close.
I think they might be going to take a look. Here's the look we have, and look from that angle, he might have beat it out. So I think we will have a review. Perhaps, anyway. They talk things over, and It was certainly a close play over at first. And you see playing deep at second, as you alluded to. And it might have, boy, that's close.
That's close. Boy, that's about as close as you're going to get. So we'll see what the crew says when they come over here. We'll take a look at it. Man, I tell you what, I'm glad I'm not the one making the decision. I just kind of sit here and abide by it.
Right, and it's well, it is a coach depending on which lens you have.
Yeah, right.
It's there in time, or he just beat it. So
right.
They'll take a look here, and it's something that we talked a little bit about earlier, but just a luxury, especially we've seen the play up to this level, and having the video available to take a look and make sure you get it right. Such a luxury as well.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to have.
And so they're going to take a look, and they're under the gun. You put them under pressure earlier in the 8-under game. You said, hey, they're perfect so far at 2 for 2, so we'll see if it's 3 for 3 here. I think he might have just beaten it out, but it is awfully close.
Yeah, they're standing right here next to us talking about it, but we can't hear what they're saying, and I'm trying.
So got a pretty good look from our camera crew there, and another thanks to.
This is going to be one of those deals where 50% of our audience are going to say is safe, 50% is going to say is out.
So what you're saying is the umpire doesn't have a diplomatic answer here.
Right, right.
So it's either the end of the inning or crosses aboard. That would be the first runner aboard, as we'll get the verdict from our crew. And it is confirmed. He is out. So another 3 up, 3 down inning. Their umpires are perfect so far.
Yeah.
As a tournament director, well done.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the youth level, one of the biggest complaints about is umpires, the things that they can and can't do.
Right.
And there's a big difference between major league umpires and minor league umpires and youth umpires, but I want to give these guys their props. The plate umpire is Dalton Crawford. Umpire down at first base is Hunter Ives, and the guy over at third base, because we have a 3-man crew here in our championship games, is Cameron Rose. So, we bring in 3 men for the championship game because we want to make sure that every call that happens, somebody's on top of it. And but inevitably, even at a 3-man, something can go awry, just like it is, like with youth baseball in general, like we talked about with 8-year-olds.
Yep.
Something will surprise you. You're like, oh, I did not see that coming.
And while coaches at the big league level would be quick to tell you, they don't get it all right there either.
Right. And case in point, so I'm originally from Michigan, so that statement just rings very bitter in our mouth because of what happened to Galarraga in the perfect game with Jim Joyce.
Yep.
So
you said Michigan, and I knew where that was headed.
Yeah, I think everybody does when you start talking about missed calls, and that might be the most famous missed call in all of baseball.
This one just outside to knock Summerall.
And the sad thing about it, Kyle, in today's world, they would overturn that, and he would have his perfect game.
And it's a play that you can look back in time and say, to look at and say, okay, everyone knows he was out there and he got it.
Yeah, we want to, right? We want to, but I understand why they can't, because then people will say, okay, well, we need to change. You're
going to have a tape of 100 games and 100 calls to go back and look at.
And that's what I kind of tell everybody. Listen, I want it just as badly as everyone else, but I understand why it'll never happen, and it's unfortunate.
Well, here in the third inning, count full here. 3-2. Minarski deals. Bouncer back up the middle over to short. How about the footwork there to throw his man out in time? Neston Hunt is putting on a clinic over at shortstop defensively, and he gets his man here for out number 1.
Well, you quickly see why he's a shortstop. I mean, it's not in question. Kid, made 2 fantastic plays. The feet work is great. I'm a big guy on feet work. I had an assistant coach with me one time, and that's all he stressed. Every game, every practice. You know, Coach McClellan, if you're out there listening, it resonates to this day, right? Feet work has everything and anything and everything to do with good defense.
Well, as a coach told me back in the day, it starts ground up. If the foundation isn't right, it's hard for the rest to go right.
Yeah. You don't have a good foundation, the building will collapse.
And a strike on the outside corner. Back to the top of the order in Lawson Coburn, who singled and then was caught stealing. His first time by, as he excuses this one foul. And just see how really the perhaps one of the most impressive elements here as we sit here in the top of the third inning, how clean of a game it has been to this point.
That's not uncommon here at the TBS Nationals with the high caliber of teams that we get. Look at that play.
Diving stop from a knee. Is it in time? You bet.
Are you kidding me right now? This is fun to watch.
Craig, a sliding stop, and from his right knee says, no problem, I got it.
Well, that's just the baseball awareness right there, 101. Craig knows if he hops up to his feet, he's probably not getting him. So from his knees, he decides to fire across the diamond and get him by half a step.
That's really impressive stuff, too. And tell you what, when you're Benarski and you know, hey, I got defense like that, pitching just got a whole lot easier.
Whole lot easier. Whole lot easier. I mean, how many more innings can we keep talking about the defense of both of these teams? At 10, right? Oh, that's right, they're 10.
And we're in the third. We got a few more to go yet. This one missed upstairs.
Ironically, though, don't this game have the feel that if it turns, it's going to turn on an error?
Yeah. As this one's fouled away. And so Gavin Pratt a chance to try to help his own cause, perhaps. Breaking pitch, that's down the line. Craig couldn't get this one, diving the other way, and all the way to the corner it goes. Extra bases for Gavin Pratt as he's in with a double with 2 away.
But again, I want you to watch this play from beginning to end. Ground ball down the third base line. Craig makes a dive for it, doesn't get it. It goes down in the corner, but pay attention to the shortstop. And this is something you don't see at this level. Look at the shortstop, how he knows, look, the double's inevitable. We're going to line up third here for a play, a possible third. Look at that. He's on the foul line. You don't see that at the 10-year-old level very often. Most of those shortstops want to stay around and you throw it back towards second base. Good coaching right there. You always want to throw it ahead of the runner.
Like there's times you don't see that in the collegiate level. As this one snaps in, but downstairs for ball 1.
That's just baseball recognition. The double's inevitable. You're not stopping that. What you need to stop is him going to third.
You know, nearby here in Myrtle Beach, certainly in the shadows, about 20 minutes or 25 minutes or so. You'll see Coastal Carolina and Gary Gilmore, who's been at it a long time.
Long time.
And he would be the first to tell you, he said, and you watch his team's fundamentals are the first thing they work on and the last thing they work on. And he said, you go and watch some of the best teams in the country, they all do the same thing.
And it trickles down to the youth level, as you can see right here in this game.
As this one gets away, center fielder and Kraus backed it up. It's in front of Ingles and racing around the bases is Pratt to score. And Jace Surface comes through with a 2-out RBI.
Any outfielder would tell you the toughest ball to read and to handle is a ball that's hit right on you. This ball is absolutely drilled with a lot of top spin, and it had a lot of a front dive down onto it and short hops the left fielder. That could have been worse than it ended up being because those types of balls with that spin hits that turf. It could get by him in a heartbeat. So Good job by the left fielder corralling that ball, keeping it in front of him with that topspin.
Yeah, credit Ingles, who was at least able to knock it down. And this one gets the backstop and hops away. And that'll allow Surface to advance. And all this coming with 2 outs. It was a pair of groundouts to start the inning, but since then, it's been a little more problematic for Benarski and the SBA Bolts.
Well, this is what every coach wants, right? To get a 2-out rally going, scratch across a run, manufacture, right? That's the key word. That's what they use, manufacture a run, which they've done here. Now, pressure changes a little bit here. Now you got a runner third, 2 outs. Pressure goes back to the catcher. Got to make sure we don't allow a pass ball or a wild pitch. You've got to be sliding your feet, sliding over in front of everything, keeping everything in front of you here. So I don't know if this is going to change his pitch selection. You know, with nobody on, you can throw that curveball in the dirt. Well, it's turf, but you get my drift. We're going to throw it down.
It's brown turf.
It's brown turf, right. It looks like dirt. So you might change your pitch selection here now with a runner at third. Right now it's only 1-0, but that's a big run at third base.
Especially the way this game has been played.
Yeah.
You can tell, and really the history between these two teams, runs have been hard to come by in general amongst them. This is the third game between them, just the 11th combined run. Nice block behind the plate there from Harris.
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Harris has got to make sure nothing gets by him. Right now he has to be a wall. Has to give up his body to keep that ball in front of him. He can't get lazy back here because lazy, the ball ends up to the backstop.
A good pitch there right on the corner. So 1-0 already, but 2 more perhaps lurking. As this one's hit on the ground, left side. Off a couple hops, throw in time. And that retires the side. Nicely done there, but damage done. 1 aboard, and it's 1-0 Wildcatters as we march to the bottom half. So off we go to the home half, trying to protect that 1-0 lead now. As this one's cracked to the right side, that'll slip its way through. So Jack Craig, the first base runner allowed by Pratt so far. Now Ethan Murphy will get to stand in.
Okay, go under the caution tape and get it.
One runner on and a 1-0 game. This one dances but just high. What kind of answer do the Bolts have? Trailing by 1, something they haven't done much this tournament. as Pratt will step off and reset. Bunt shown, it's a good one. Oh, what a beauty, right down the line, and a heads-up play behind the plate, and Summerall to let it go foul. That was a beauty of a bunt that just rolled foul. Otherwise, they're first and second with nobody down. This one hit well towards right field, and reaching up is Pregler. Darting back in time is Craig. And Murphy hit it well, almost too well for Pregler to reel it in, but Pregler had it measured up just enough to make the play. Here's Jackson Hickman, also known as Mustard, according to his teammates. And Coach came by and told us he got that nickname. It was an unfortunate battle with a hot dog, and the Mustard won. So Mustard 1, Jackson 0 in that exchange. Now with one out and one on. Watches this one down in. Runner goes and sliding in safely. A good slide from Craig to the backside of the base to ensure. And he got there in time. Pitch just outside, down and away. Two balls and a strike. Jackson Hickman, this one popped in the air. Drifts out there well, though, to left field. Still drifting back. The breeze problematic. It falls. And that'll result in a double as Green was unable to come up with it. Now they're at second and third with one down. And to the top of the order in Tanner Denton. And a big play that could be. Top of the order now. Two in scoring position. Squeeze was on, and he tapped it foul. Now the gears turning about how to handle potential squeeze situation here. Runners at second and third, just one away. Trying to preserve a 1-0 lead. Breaking ball, in for strike two. Makes the bunt harder to come by from Tanner Denton. Fastball, excused foul. So battling with two strikes. Wildcatters a 1-0 lead, but the Bolts threatening. And that did get a piece of it. Denton thought he might have danced out of the way, and instead the hit by pitch will load him up for Micah Murphy. First baseman, we've seen a couple really good plays from him. Is stretch it out as much as you possibly can a lot of times at second base. This one in the air, right side, drifting down the line, and foul. All kinds of trouble lurked over there, but unable to dance it fair Right idea, getting it in the air and ensuring you try to get one here. Another breaking ball, inside corner. So now a couple of strikes as Murphy digs back in. Pratt deals again, trying to get him to chase upstairs, and Murphy able to lay off. Ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, just 1 away. Breaking ball, fouled away. And still ahead 1 and 2 if you're Pratt. As Gavin Pratt steps off to reset. Big moment here with the bases loaded. Went for the breaking ball again. It just missed. Pratt, Coburn, and the rest of the infield alike thought they might have strike 3. Umpires in blue and orange down the first base dugout thought it was there as well. Instead, it's 2 and 2. This one is there. Ground ball up the middle. Can they turn 2? They turn the first. Return fire not in time. So they'll get the one at second. Murphy will get the RBI. And we are tied at 1 apiece. So runners at the corners with 2 down for Tucker Harris, who struck out. Only strikeout of the game so far on either side, as this one's just upstairs. And Pratt is shaking the head as he thought he had that one dialed up as well. Likes the sign, fires, down and away, and a miss there. So now it's 2-0. Runners at second and third. First base is open here. But the count now 3-0 to Harris. And Nesselhut, the shortstop, waiting on deck. He's had an eventful day defensively so far. As that missed for ball 4. So I want clarification where the Wildcatters coach on where it was missing, and so he tells his catcher, hey, target a little too far outside, bring it in a little bit. Bases loaded yet again for Briggs Nesselhut in a 1-1 game. This one pop foul. Another long look in. Pratt ready to fire and tried the front door breaking ball again. Missed inside, it's 1-1. Breaking ball hitting the air, right side, fouling out of play. A count of ball and 2 strikes. Briggs Nesselhut. A bounce out back in the second. Chance for a big impact here in the third. Didn't chase there. It's 2-2. Bases loaded, tie game, a 2-away, 1 in this inning. Hardest Pratt has had to work so far. Swing and a miss. He got the strikeout to end the inning. And the score remains tied. 1 apiece after 3 here in Myrtle Beach. Have navigated through the first 3, just allowing 1 run, both coming in the 3rd inning. Garner Green leads it off this go round for the Wildcatters. As it has been a fun start to this 10U championship, as Rick Goff, along with Kyle Rush, here with you, and see some of the defense and really some good hitting and defense, and got out of a bases loaded jam to finish that one still in a tie ball game a half inning ago. And now the Wildcatters trying to take that momentum to the offensive side of things.
Yeah, that was actually the best case scenario for the Wildcatters. You know, they were in a precarious situation there with the bases loaded, and for them to only allow 1 run keeps them in the ball game. 1-1 score here into the 4th, so it's exactly where he wants to be.
And now their offense gets busy with a base hit from Gardner Green to lead off this 4th inning, and just like that, he's aboard for the 2nd time.
I want to remind everyone that this is a double elimination tournament all the way through, so the Wildcatters actually have to beat SBA twice in order to take home the championship.
Well, if the Wildcatters were to win, it would set up a 4th matchup between these 2 teams. SBA winning the first 2, 5-2 and 2-1. You mentioned the relationships you build throughout the tournament. To say these teams have gotten fairly familiar with each other as the week has gone on.
Yeah, the only thing that they're lacking is when somebody gets up that everybody's shifting because they now know where he's going to hit.
Runner goes here, throw down, won't be in time. As Green's able to swipe the bag. That's the first time they've really tried a stolen base since they had 2 thrown out in the 1st inning. Trying to swipe second. A testament to how good Harris has been behind the plate.
Wasn't a lot Harris could do on that. Green got a great jump, and there was no chance to throw him out on that jump there. He got a perfect read on the pitcher, timed it up, and he was already 2 or 3 steps into it before the ball even come to the plate.
So now Pregler has a runner in scoring position. As this one right off the outside corner for ball 4. So single, and now a walk from Benarski, and now all of a sudden the first 2 are aboard. As Reed Stiegel gets set to stand in.
Curious to see how he's going to play this situation. You know, normally at 10-year-old divisions, you just kind of let the kids hit and let the pieces fall where they may. But these coaches have shown a propensity to play a little small ball, move runners in scoring position, the old get them on, get them over, get them in type of philosophy. So we'll see how the Wildcatters is going to attempt to play this.
Craig plays in at 3rd, expecting bunt, as does Murphy over at 1st.
Yeah, they're fully expecting it here, that he's going to lay it down. Well, now he doesn't have to.
Oh, the balk, and the full-on wind-up and pump fake.
The home plate umpire had time. He'd never put the ball back in play, so they have to go back. SBA catches a break there that the umpire still had time at the plate.
We've seen the quick pitch and maybe the pump fake pitch trying to get it in there. Bunt down here, a good one. They tag the runner. It does advance the runners, but heads up play by Murphy. Has tried to slap the quick tag and then see if he could get an out further. He can't, so it's a good bunt by Stiegel.
Yeah, good bunt, but I'm a little confused why they would push it to first. In that situation, you want to try to push that to third to make him make the play. So you don't run that risk of the out coming at third. But all worked out in the end, I guess, for both. Wildcatters got their runners moved over, and SBA got the out.
And now Summerall, who did a fine job last half inning behind the plate, in his own right, a chance now to put his club back in front.
I was looking to see how SBA was going to defend this. It looks like they're willing to give up the run up the middle. The corners are in, so if something comes hard to them, they're going to look to run her back. But if anything up the middle is going to score the run and give them the lead here.
This one in the dirt, nicely blocked by Harris.
Turf, into the turf.
Like we said earlier, it's brown turf.
It just doesn't sound right when you say
No.
into the turf.
Old school guy like yourself, you don't say down in the turf.
Put it in the dirt, right? Put it in the dirt.
We even heard both coaches say dirt already today. Hey, in the dirt, you got to block it. They have.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was 10 years old, the whole infield was dirt.
Right. Yeah. No mounds either, right? I mean, you're just pitching flat.
Like a speed bump.
Yeah. If you were lucky, you got a speed bump.
Kicks, fires this one through the hole on the left side. It'll plate one. They will hold the second. They'll put runners in the corners and knock Summerall. The last man in the order comes through with an RBI.
Well, there you go, right? Timely hit. Get them on, get them over, get them in. And that's exactly what the Wildcatters have done. They've got two on, bunted them over, base hit, scores a run. Now you got first and third. See how they're going to play this. We saw this earlier where it was first and third, and the runner went into second base standing up, and they threw him out. So we'll see how they're going to play this here.
All sorts of strategy comes into play.
Sure. Is SBA going to let them take the base? Is Wildcatters even going to attempt to steal?
Sometimes you'll see a catcher throw it hard to the pitcher to make it look like he's throwing down to the base, but they let him take it here. So Summerall into second. And sometimes you'll see a catcher come up and he'll throw it hard, or a shortstop will cut it off, and they'll come right back to the plate with it. They don't hear. So they're at second and third now for Lawson Coburn in the top of the order. And this one sails high.
And we're right back into the same situation. Ground ball up the middle is going to score a run. The defense is elected to play back. The corners are in. So we're in the same situation we were a batter ago and a few pitches ago.
Count 2-0 to Coburn. A hit and a ground out so far. This one hit towards short. Hit sharply. Only play over at first. That is in time. But it's only out number 2. Murphy might have thought it was the third out for a moment. It does plate another run. And it's 3-1 Wildcatters.
You can see the ball got to him at short quick enough. He looked at home. He gave it a peek, but then thought better of it and threw the ball over to first base, which is the right play. The young man made the right play. With them playing back like that, willing to give up the run. As hard as runs are to come by in this game, I'm a little surprised that SBA elected to play the infield back on that.
Well, they tell you as an infielder, make sure you get an out.
Got to get an out.
That's exactly what Neston Hutt did. Ensured they got the one. This one in the dirt and breaking for the plate, and he will score. As Knox Summerall read that well. A little help from his third base coach. Read it the entire way. Now it's 4-1, the third run of the inning for the Houston Wildcatters.
Well, I'll tell you, based on the history of these two teams, 4-run looks like it might be 100. You know, it's a tough hill to climb.
This one looped into left center. All the way to the fence it goes. Rounding first, looking for extra bases is Pratt, and he's quickly retreats back towards first. Pratt's sitting there saying, you could have stayed at third and then let me hit it. I would have gotten an RBI out of the deal.
Right. Held high. He's got a good-looking stance, very relaxed, very loose, as a coach would like to see his batters at the plate. He's very loose.
Look, fires. How about this throw down there in time to get him. Harris has the third runner he's caught stealing. He has certainly been an eraser.
That's the first time I've actually hear one of the humps. Keep it.
TBS will be assembling and taking 5 teams to Mesa, Arizona, December 27th through January 1st to participate in New Year's Baseball Fest. Mesa has 8 all-synthetic fields, and it's a great opportunity for kids 10 to 14 to play with other kids from all over the country. Each team made up of 12 players, and you must play at your 2025 age group for this event. We'll provide jerseys, hats, and coaches for the teams. Nothing quite like it anywhere, and no better way to ring in the new year than in style with TBS and New Year's Baseball Fest. For more details, visit tbsnationals.com, and don't delay, as these 12 spots will go fast. And another way that these kids can get opportunities to grow their game as a bouncer to second, as Bednarski retired on one pitch on the bounce out here in the 4th. His team trailing, something that the SBA Bolts haven't done much of, Rick.
No, it's unfamiliar territory for these guys trailing in a game. But earlier this week, they've played close ball games. They had back-to-back 2-1 games. They've played a 5-2 game. So playing the close games, nothing new to them. They're not going to show the pressure. They're not going to panic because they know what they're capable of. And in turn, the Wildcatters are the same. They've been in close games as well, and they know what they have to do in order to keep the lead and close this one out. Again, we go back to outfielders talking about the hardest ball is the one that's hit right at them. And, you know, that one was right at him, had a lot of top spin on it again. Valiant effort by the young man out there, but he come up just a little bit short.
And this came in and got him. So Craig is plunked, and now, just like that, all of a sudden, you think, okay, we got ourselves a 4-1 lead. Now 2 quick base runners, and the inning starts to look, the Bolts might have an answer here.
Well, this is how it starts, right? I mean, this is not the way the script was written for the Wildcatters here. They definitely didn't want to get the first 2 batters on, and because now this creates pressure. It creates pressure for the pitcher, creates pressure for the fielders, because now they have to execute everything to perfection in order to limit the damage in this inning, because this has the potential to blow up and be a huge inning for the Bolts.
That pitch also outside. Got the bounce out of Bednarski to start the inning on the first pitch, but since then, double hit batsman, and now 2-0 to Murphy. Make it 3-0.
Yeah, right now it seems like the pitcher's struggling a little bit. He's kind of jerking across his body with his delivery, which is causing everything to end up in that left-handed batter's box. He just needs to take a deep breath here, relax, and get back to what he knows.
That outside. And so hit pitch, now a walk, and now they're loaded with one away. And if it sounds familiar, it should. Same situation that we were in an inning ago. And now a visit out to the mound.
The one thing about the Bolts is they'll keep bringing pressure inning after inning. You cannot let up for just a split second, because you end up in the situation that you got right here, right? Bases loaded, 1 out. This is going to end up being a critical part in this game. If the Wildcatters can get out of this situation and still have a comfortable lead, you know, the path to forcing that if game looks a lot brighter. But if the Bolts can put a run, even just 1 run, maybe, you know, even 2 across here in this inning, changes the whole outlook of how this game's going to finish.
It starts to look different, no doubt about that. One of those momentum innings, if you will, right in the middle of the ball game here in the 4th. Might as well go 7.
Well, if the Wildcatters have a trick play up their sleeve, man, this might be the time to pull it out right here.
Bases loaded. And Jackson Hickman, first pitch swinging, lofts it in the air to short. Infield fly rule was in effect. There's 2 down. And that's Pratt. You got to pitch when you really needed it against the guy who doubled against you last time. Now it turns the lineup over, but with 2 away.
He just missed that pitch. You can see he got it right off the end of the bat. He's probably saying, I wish I could get that one back.
And now that's a balk, which will allow everyone to move up. So after you get the second inning, or the second out rather, then the balk will allow a run to score.
Looks like they're talking to him about taking the ball in and out of the glove once he's on the rubber. He's got to make a decision. He's got to leave it either in or out. And that's what cost him on that one there. But the Wildcatters are still okay. Giving up 1 run's not the end of the world right here. Base hit, tie game, now we change things. This is smart by the pitcher here, composing himself, stepping off, taking a deep breath. You know, normally something like that might shake a pitcher, but this young man's handling it well. He's making sure that he's set, getting his composure back before he attacks.
Good job by the coaches as well. You could hear him outside that first base coach's dugout sort of walking him through. Hey, do this, then that. Okay, now you're ready.
Yep, that's a great job.
Those type of reinforcements to help him focus back in on Tanner Denton and trying to get out of this inning with a 4-2 lead intact. This one hits sharply, and it gets by the third baseman. And that will allow one play at the plate is in time to get him.
What a play by that young man out in left field. A tremendous throw. It took a tremendous throw to get him. And, man, that was on the money. Great reception by the catcher to go to the tag. That's an A-plus Sports Center highlight play right there.
A BB thrown in from Green in left. Summerall slaps the tag, and the lead intact, albeit just one, as we march on to the fifth. So new pitchers, we start the fifth. Tanner Denton comes from second now to pitch. And Ethan Murphy will come in from right to play second. Benarski goes to first. And Murphy goes from first to right. So you got a Murphy still in right field, but now one at second. As Jay Surface leads it off for the Wildcatters. This little flare right side and just does find the turf. As Benarski tried to find a way to get that one before it found its way to the turf. See, Rick, we got the turf reference in there.
We did. Yeah, you worked that in very nicely, and it sounded natural, actually, right? That was that's what it all boils down to.
As this one's hit well out in the air, deep left center field, drifting back. Goodbye, home run. Jay Surface has left the surface. A shot to left center field, and a welcome party awaits at home plate.
classic example of not doing too much at the plate, drops the barrel head on it, squares it up, and sends it over the left center field fence for a home run. Didn't overswing, just a nice smooth swing and delivery, and he gets rewarded for it.
It's a lesson of those watching, too. You try to see all these big swings. It didn't even look like that hard of a swing, and
No.
yet the ball certainly traveled well.
No, short, compact to the ball, and able to send it over the fence there for a solo home run, which is a big run here, guys. We're getting late in the game. Gives them back to a 2-run cushion, which makes, as a pitcher, it gets you to breathe just a little bit easier once you take the mound here in the bottom the bottom half of the inning.
You know, as a hitting coach will always say, find the barrel some way, somehow. He did.
He did. He did.
Now Easton Dunham. By the way, now with that home run from Service, he's a triple away from the cycle here. As Dunham watches that one in. He's played it a couple runs. Single, double, homer. Not a bad day at the office.
Yeah, he's swinging the bat well. You get in one of those zones, right? And you can't wait to get back up again. Like, I want to hit again.
Well, the opposing pitcher said, I'm okay if it takes a while for him to come up again. The way he's been swinging it is Dunham. A hit and a walk so far for him today. This one on the ground towards first, and an easy play from Benarski, who will just tap it himself for out number 1.
Yeah, he's a little disappointed himself. He got a good pitch to hit there, but he was fooled a little bit on the timing. Out on that front foot, rolled over on it, hit a soft ground ball to first base, and that's not the result he was looking for. But just get back in the dugout, compose yourself, and you'll have another chance to swing.
This one over the top of Lawson there, and something that we've talked about, Rick, already is how high expectations are for these kids, that the kids set for themselves.
Yeah.
And how, we were talking, ground ball gets a run in, productive out, they're upset. Well, I didn't get a base hit.
Yeah.
And just sort of how you have to mentor, say, hey, it's a game where 3 out of 10 seen as really darn good.
It's all a mindset, right? It's hard to, excuse me, it's hard to get those guys into that mindset at this young age. As they get older, they are able to learn more about what a good baseball play is, or a good at bat is, or anything of that nature. And it takes time to get that integrated into their system. So you have to kind of play with it there a little bit as they get in this age here.
Pressure on the coach there, having to not only tie his player's shoe, but do so in front of a crowd. Easier said than done. That one just missed.
Yeah, it's difficult we saw in the 8U game, kids try to tie their shoes with their batting gloves on, and I'm here to tell you that's an impossible feat. You can't do it. So normally coaches come into the rescue and end up tying shoes of kids who are fully capable of tying their own if they would just take the batting gloves off. But at that age, it's a whole process to go take the batting gloves off.
In a sport that's full of routines, and time of the coach tying the shoes, this one foul down the line. I heard some of the parents telling what type of knot to tie. It's a hard pressure job.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're on display, like you said,
right
in front of everybody.
Add that to the requirements to coach youth sports, and certainly take special people to do that anyway. Add shoe tying to the list as this one misses down and away, and Aaron draws the walk. And now Gardner Green, who's been aboard twice today. Wildcatters, they found themselves on base early and often in this one. In fact, despite just sending the minimum to the plate, 2 hits in that first inning, and sort of told a statement right there from the beginning. Pop up right there over to third. Craig's got it. An easy play there, and 2 are away. You got a sense, though, from the onset that runs would be important, but that this Wildcatters team, they were undeterred from the first two meetings. Certainly felt like they could have won each. Now it certainly magnifies if you get to that, if necessary, game. This one bounces down and away.
Yeah, SBA has the luxury of being able to stub their toe, so to speak, one time and still be able to cart out a new game and start all over again.
This one popped in the air towards center. Kraus. Oh, it gets between he and Murphy, and the carousel around the bases begins, and a nice job to cut it off by Craig, but that'll allow runners now at second and third as Pregler finds his way aboard. One that was hit just well enough, but not so good that Kraus was able to come in and retrieve it. So now they're at second and third with two away as Denton tries to get SBA out of the inning. One that featured a solo shot from Jace Surface to start the frame. So Micah Murphy, with his team trailing by a tally of 2. Same pitcher still out there, and Gavin Pratt, last 2 innings, has worked himself into hot water, but really has done a pretty nice job navigating through it with minimal damage and still has the 2-run lead as he starts it off here in the 5th. Bouncing ball, nice backhand play at third. Throw, not quite in time.
Wow, that was close. That young man made it closer. I didn't think it would have a shot of being that close. Falls down on the ground, goes back on the hand, and comes forward here.
And we're going to get a review.
Looks like we're going to get a review here.
They're going to come and take it, and, you know, it's almost sometimes as a courtesy to your fielder, you make that good of a play, say, yeah, we'll look at it for you. And it is certainly close down there at first. What a play, though, from Aaron to even make it a close play. But it was certainly bang bang as the umpire crew makes their way over. And Rick, as you were saying, just impressive that it was a play at all at first base.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any shot that they would have a play at the young man running down the line. I mean, it's impressive that he was able to get over there as it was.
We look at it all, right? Even if the foot's off.
So now they're wanting to make sure that they look at all aspects of this as interested parties, both coaches and players certainly as well. It's the leadoff hitter in this bottom of the 5th inning in a 2-run game, and that's how pivotal a play like this is. And gotten a couple glances at it, and Rickett is awfully close.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on this one. I mean, it is that close, man. I tell you, it's going to be something else. But it's a good challenge by the coach here this late in the game. You can't take them home with you.
Right.
So something like this, you might as well take a look at it and kind of see what you got here. They're taking a little extra time on this one, so that tells me that they're thinking it's close too.
So they're debating amongst us, and when it's that close, so it is awfully close down there. The umpires deliberate, and you look as far as the game's concerned, it's a 2-run game. It's a leadoff base runner for a team that trails by 2. It's a big call and really could change the complexion of an inning, whether he's there in time or not. So a lot of discussion going back and forth.
Yeah, this one's taking a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I know we talked earlier about how a couple of them, they got down real quick with the conclusion. We talked about,
Yep.
wow, Major League Baseball needs to implement that type of thing. But here they've taken an extra long look at this, hard look at this, and ran it back 3 or 4 times. And it's all about the position of the ball. Is it in the back of the glove and the foot? And they were looking to see if he pulled his foot. And there's so many things that kind of open up once you hit the review here. So we're going to
Getting in Tucker Harris, his team down 2, and a pitching change coming, as that is it for Pratt. And boy, he pitched awfully well all game long.
He did. He flirted with disaster for a couple innings, but he was able to kind of work himself out of it. That's a sign of a confident pitcher. Didn't let the situations rattle him and bother him. But ultimately, as the head coach of the Wildcatters, you got to make a decision here. You got to feel the game a little bit and kind of notice that this is a big point in the game. He's going to come in with a lefty here. Try to give him a different look here in the last 2 innings.
So Gavin Anderson will be the left-hander that'll come out. Pratt will move to right. So that'll change things over, but as he's trying to stay
So Anderson is going in for number 11, Stiegel.
as Anderson
To right field, Anderson's going to pitcher.
will come in. So Anderson will take that spot in the lineup as well. So a straight change there. And then they just switch positions around as Pratt goes out to right. And now Tucker Harris with the runner on, and all sorts of things you can do here. As you alluded to, a lot of times at this level you see him swing away, but certainly be interesting down 2. Wouldn't think the bunt would be as likely of a play as you might see otherwise, but we'll see how they approach it with a new pitcher and Gavin Anderson on the bump.
Well, there's 2 different kind of goals here of what's going on, right? SBA is wanting to cut this lead at least in half, and the Wildcatters are trying to prevent that from happening. So this is where the chess game comes into play right here.
Well, this one gets by and all the way to the backstop, and here's a free 60 feet. And up to second is Murphy.
Well, I think right now with that happening, Wildcatters have to kind of tell themselves, listen, we're going to probably give up a run this inning. Let's not make it any more than that. Take outs where we can get them.
Tried the backdoor breaking ball. Didn't quite get it there.
Well, I tell you what, this home plate umpire has been very consistent on that corner out there.
Yes.
He has been on it the whole game with the same zone for both teams.
This one came inside.
This might be
giving
trouble.
a ride. That ball is long gone. And just like that, we are all tied. Rick, you called it off the bat. That was all kinds of trouble, and Tucker Harris ties it in the 5th.
Got a fastball on the inner half of the plate. Kept them hands inside. Nice swing. Drove the ball. Again, another nice, easy, fluid swing. Squaring up the baseball. And you tell kids all the time, listen, you don't have to swing hard. Just use your techniques, your mechanics right, and the ball will jump out of here as it did just now. Got a new ball game here.
But now a tie game, and well, so many times you wonder why on reviews maybe it takes as long as it does. Case in point, it turned out to be a big runner as they made sure they took the time, made sure they got it right, that he was safe, and then that runner eventually scores a hitter later on the Harris 2-run shot. And what a game he has had. And the job Harris has done behind the plate defensively, and now you add the 2-run bomb to go with it.
Now all of a sudden we've turned this into basically a 1-inning ball game.
As Nesselhut swings through it, and momentum shifts as well, and where it seemed like the Bolts were chasing, now it almost feels as if they're in the driver's seat here, as he went after that one, tried to hold back but couldn't. Breaking ball wouldn't chase. Easier for a right-hander to read that backdoor breaking ball and see it's going to stay away. Crowd has come to life on that third base side as well after the homer from Harris.
Yeah, you notice a little bit more pep in their step over there on that third base side now that the score is tied.
A little more life and a little bit saying, yeah, this is what we remember experiencing all week long. And that one missed, ball 4. So tried to get him to chase. Did Anderson. Nesselhut never did. First 3 in the inning have reached 2 of them already in. And now Benarski, who didn't finish the day on the mound, the way he would like, but now comes up at the plate with a chance to do damage. And a big hit, who knows, perhaps give his team the lead.
Well, this is 10-year-old baseball. We do not have the Major League rule where you can only throw over 2 times in an inning, so it could be a little cat and mouse game here.
This one looped foul. It's a 10-year-old baseball, but whatever the age, it's been good baseball all game long.
Yeah, this has been a tremendous game up to this point. Both teams doing everything they can possibly to bring this home.
Breaking ball, that turned on. As Benarski rips it through, but nice job by Pratt, who pitched most of the game to this point, preventing it from going first to third.
Yeah, that was a good decision by the coach. I got a feeling if he would have tried to go first to third in that, it might have not been a good outcome. As he come up with a strong throw from right field, right on the money to the third baseman.
Cliche, don't get the first or last out at third base.
I never understood that. I mean, I wouldn't want to make any out at third base. Right. I just...
Like, what's so good about the second out there?
I don't understand that one either. I don't want to make any out at third.
I wonder if we have another change here. It looks like indeed we do. So that'll be it for Gavin Anderson. And a new pitcher will toe the rubber as they will turn to Easton Durham, who was at first. So now Durham into pitch. We'll see who they march out there over at first base. You mentioned when Durham was at the plate, big kid, and you've already seen his warm-up tosses, a kid that throws pretty hard.
Yeah, he definitely pitches downhill, gets that frame turned around, torso turned around, and keeps coming.
Siegel re-entering for Anderson, Dunham pitching. Thank you. Siegel's going to 1.
But I think this is what, the Wildcatters have to do. I think they were kind of in the back of their mind hoping to save him for the if game, but they got to win this one to get there. So they need him to come in and kind of close this door and slam it shut here so they can kind of preserve this tie.
It's where the advantage of having won that game earlier, and now the confidence for SBA swells back, especially against the team you played twice. Hey, we've been in these close games. We were on the right side both times. Meanwhile, the opposite is true. And the thinking for the Wildcatters knowing, we've battled them tough, but we haven't been the team on the right side when the dust settles. 2 on, nobody out. And this came in tight, and a lot of equipment grazed on the way there, but it's a foul ball.
Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things, but the safety flap did its job here on the helmet as he squared the bunt, fouled it back basically right into his face. Coach over there checking on him to make sure he's okay, but the safety flap in front of the helmet doing its job there. But you see the play by SBA. They're willing to go ahead and sacrifice and move the runners over to try to get that lead here in the bottom of the 5th. That way they just got to come out 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, and the game's over.
Why do we only go 6 innings? This up the middle could be 2, 6, 3, double play.
That is a huge, huge play for the Wildcatters. That turns the whole momentum of this game right back to the Wildcatters now, because now you're 1 out away from going to the 6th inning with a tie ball game.
And it will take a 2-out hit to try to break that tie. Jack Craig has been on base twice. Both times he came around to score. And we mentioned he's flashed the leather a time or two at third as well.
I'd be curious to know what went into the decision-making of why he pulled the bunt off. He tried it the first strike, and then he just kind of pulled it off and let him hit away. I wonder what kind of went into that decision.
Oh, you got a pretty good angle right behind the plate. How about a good little two-seamer?
Yeah, that was a great pitch there. Had a little movement to it there, a little dart movement.
And a breaking ball. This one through the left side. Backhanded, but there's no play. Nesselhut scores. Craig aboard for the 3rd time. This time he breaks the tie at 6-5.
Man, that was so close to third baseman. Another inch or two. He probably gets his glove on that. At least has a shot, but going deep in that 5-6 hole with these bases at 65 feet, that's no shot to get the runner there.
This one also towards third. Neron waits on this one. Low throw. That's not in time. And going first to third is Craig.
Well, he held on to the ball too much. He pumped, and then he decided to bring the throw across the diamond. And he needs to get rid of that ball quickly. He had some good wheels moving down first and beat the throw out. Now we're in a tough situation here. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. Now we can't let a pass ball get by, wild pitch, anything. You got to be a wall back here.
And Jackson Hickman, coaches told us before the game his nickname was Mustard. He said he had a run-in with a hot dog that did not go according to plan. And that's where the nickname Mustard came from.
It's amazing how some things will stick with you for a lifetime.
He'll have, high school, someone will call him that. And then it just seems to trickle down the ladder. The guys that you hadn't played with in your youth days, they don't care how you got it. They just want to know where it came from.
And if it's a good story, it's going to stick. If it's not a good story, you might have a chance to get out from underneath it.
Sounds like a run-in with a hot dog as a baseball player. Those tend to stick around for a while.
That's a good story. Well, here's a situation we're looking at now. Wildcatters have basically outplayed SBA here this whole time, all the way through basically almost 5 innings. And now all of a sudden, SBA, because they kept around, they find themselves 3 outs from a victory.
Those, you look at any level, those championship-type teams, they always seem to find that way, don't they?
Yeah. They don't let you get too far out ahead. They keep you within striking distance, and then boom, there it is all of a sudden. You look up after 5 innings of leading the ball game to find yourself trailing.
This one's hitting the left field. 1 run is in, and knowing that Green showcased that arm earlier, they'll hold him at third this time. But Craig comes in to score. Make it 3 for 3 for Craig as far as being on base and then coming around to score. And it's Mustard Hickman with an RBI. If he keeps hitting like that, he won't mind the nickname either.
No, if I'm hitting, you can call me whatever you want. I don't care.
9th hitter of the inning is Tanner Denton. As this one spins in for strike 1. Now the roles flip. We went to the bottom of the 5th with the Bolts down a pair. We'll go to the top of the 6th with at least a 2-run lead for the Bolts. And the Wildcatters needing 2. He thought that one was on the outside corner.
Yeah, that one looked like a good pitch. It looked like it got a good piece of the corner there. That one seemed to maybe get by the umpire there a little bit. I thought that was a strike.
Got the call there. It's 1-2. Now trying to find a way, get out of the inning, and then as we've seen, 2 runs can happen in a hurry. As this one gets away, they might need a third, as coming in from third to score is Murphy. And so 6-run inning for the Bolts.
Yeah, the wheels have seemed to have fallen off of the Wildcatters here, which is unfortunate. Man, they've played a great game up to this point. I hope that they don't remember this inning as any indication of how this game's been played. I mean, this has just been a hard-fought game all the way, but it has gotten away a little bit here in the end.
Coburn will make the play. Murphy, who led off the inning, retired to finish it. We head to the 6th, where the Wildcatters will need 4 to keep it going here in Myrtle Beach.
3 outs away from a national championship here in the 10U division.
Pitcher is Jack Craig, which means there's a new third baseman. And Benarski, who started the day on the mound, is now over there. But boy, what a job it has been. And just, you think of the coaching staff too, just, hey, keep us around, keep us around, keep us around. And then, you know, buying into that message, hey, our time's going to come. And boy, did it ever in the 5th inning.
If you're going to explode, that's the time you want to do it, right there in the bottom of the 5th. Take all the pressure out, all the air out of their sails, so now they come back for 3rd.
They thought he went around maybe for 3rd strike. That's why Harris went back to get it so quickly. As is the count now full, 3-2. And if you're going to come back, leadoff hitter aboard, so critical. And this one, cue shot up the middle. Nesselot has been really good there all day long. No different here.
Boy, it's nice and when you just have that anchor in your middle of your infield that you get just consistent and reliable. It's almost as the ball starts heading that way, you already know that it's going to be an out.
So now the top of the order in Lawson Coburn. As the Bolts 2 outs away. And you know, any coach would tell you sometimes those 2 can be the toughest to find, as this one's escorted foul.
Yeah, it always seems like in a game like, if this is a pool game, it probably goes a lot smoother, but a big time game here in the championship game, those outs are always hard to come by. They seem to be a little tougher to come by.
And all of a sudden, a runner aboard, it doesn't almost seem the situation. It almost seems like they all start rallies or are capable thereof.
As we said earlier in the day, well, you know, 8U baseball, same applies here. It's 10U baseball. Anything can happen.
Inside pitch, he turned on it well, but perhaps too well as he flipped it foul.
Young man's doing a nice job. Got 2 strikes, battled off, fouling off a couple of pitches. The more he fouls off, it's supposed to go in the hitter's advantage here. We'll see what happens.
This one high. So he's done a nice job and working deep into the count. And one thing that, just from watching Wildcatters today, is down on strikes. He goes here, and they're 1 out away. Knew the Wildcatters wouldn't go down without a fight. And Gavin Pratt, who was a big part of the fight, now the last man in the way for the Bolts.
Wildcatters are going to look back on this game, and it boiled down to 1 bad inning. And that's what did them in here. You know, it's unfortunate, man, because these guys played their hearts out today, played 5 innings of great baseball, just had 1 bad inning, and that's ultimately going to be their demise here, it looks like, is they're down to their last out here.
Scored in every inning since the 2nd. Haven't scored yet, and they need Gavin Pratt to find a way aboard. Down to their final strike. Outside corner. National champions are the SBA Bolts.
Congratulations to the Bolts for a great run this week. Well-deserved, great team.
They proved to be a complete team as a SBA Bolts take a title home to the Tar Heel State.
After 5 long days of playing baseball, there's only been one champion. And that champion for the 10U division for the TBS Nationals. Yes!